Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is a fine Thursday evening. Great to be back. Great to have the whole gang in the building. We've been off for a few weeks. I had to handle some family business, so I damn sure appreciate the gentlemen understanding and holding things down. Thank you to all our fans who've been hitting us up, wondering, when we getting back on air. We are here. Many of you may know my brother passed away 2 weeks ago, suddenly, 36 years old. So thank you so much for all the prayers to our family and everything. We're all doing so much better. And thank you guys for all y'all consistently hitting me up and shit like that. That meant a whole hell of a lot. And as we know, with all things in life, the beat goes on. The beat continues on, but the beat goes on. And a lot has happened in sports since I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking with you gentlemen on here. Of course, we've been talking in our different group chats and just staying abrupt with what's going on. And I also thank you, gentlemen, for keeping me up to date with what was going on with the NFL draft a few weeks ago. We'll get into that and talk about our teams and what we think about the draft process. But the NFL has us fans, really excited. The NFL is keeping us pretty giddy with a lot of our sports leagues still being suspended, still being on hold. As I just mentioned a little while ago, about 2 weeks ago now, roughly, I believe, yeah, about 2 weeks ago to the date, the NFL draft took place. And then today, as we're currently on air and throughout most of today, the 2020 NFL schedule has been dropping. So we all know quite right now about where my Eagles will be playing, where Brandon's Baltimore Ravens will be playing, and who Cregg Atlanta Falcons will be playing. Now, me personally, this is just personally, I don't think we'll get much football this year. I think it'll be a blessing and a gift if we do. But the NFL is keeping us excited and keeping the ball rolling, and they plan on keeping their schedule intact. Now, before we talk about the schedule, I will let it be known the NFL has already made statements saying they are prepared to make modifications to the schedule if necessary. As of right now, of course, they are planning to go ahead with the full schedule as normal. But if things continue to take place with the coronavirus and COVID-19, and slow things down and slow down the movement in our world, things could possibly change, and Roger Goodell could possibly have to call an audible. Some schedules have already leaked. The NFL plans on dropping the full schedule in about 5 minutes tonight at 8 o'clock. But we already have a few of those dates in line. Now, Craig, your Atlanta Falcons were one of the first teams to put out their full schedule. A lot of
Yep, looking at it now.
God bless you. A lot of high hopes. Those are allergies as well, people. Those are allergies. Those molecules get in
Well,
the
I'm
air.
glad
You
it's not
never know.
now.
That's one of them allergy sneezes right there. But there's a lot of expectations this year for the Atlanta Falcons and pretty much the NFC South with the addition of Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, with Drew Brees re-signing in New Orleans, Jameis Winston now being a backup in New Orleans. It's a lot of hype with the teams in the NFC South. Craig, we now know to start off your season, you'll be taking on your Atlanta Falcons will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks. They'll be taking on the Seattle Seahawks just to start that off. And I'm gonna run down like your first 5 games. You'll take on the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, and the Carolina Panthers, all within the first 5 weeks. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I see us going about 1-4, or 2-3. Um, but honestly, it's games we can win. It's just, I mean, hey, you got the Seahawks first. I think that's gonna be in Seattle. I think no, it's gonna be here, I believe. And then clearly that don't work. Uh, the Cowboys, we got to figure out what they're gonna do at their quarterback position. The Bears, we all know that the Bears defense is crazy. They can never get their offense together, which we might see Nick Foles coming in early there. Then you got Green Bay. You got Aaron Rodgers, and that's a problem already. Then you got the Panthers. Nobody really knows what the Panthers are, what they're gonna be. They got Teddy Bridgewater coming in from New Orleans, and rookie head coach Matt Rule. So we'll see how they are, how they look. Of course, they still got Christmas McCaffrey and everything, but we'll see how they go. But I think we can win that at least. So it's a tough start, but we'll figure it out.
I know it's quite early, but if you had to just make an early prediction on where you think your Falcons will stand at the end of the season or what their record will possibly be, what do you have there?
Mm, I go with probably like winning about honestly 6 or 7 games.
Okay,
Six or
okay,
seven.
all right. Well, I mean that's fair. I won't knock that right now. So you don't see your team making the playoffs this year?
Nah, with the improvement of the NFC South and then this schedule, I don't know. I don't see it because you got an uphill battle with Tampa Bay and the Saints in the same division.
Now, Brandon, of course, there was a lot of high expectations for your team this year, the Baltimore Ravens. A phenomenal year from the quarterback who turned out to be the MVP, Lamar Jackson. Um, we see that the Ravens are on the up and up, and that they'll possibly be, they'll be targets this year. Last year, a lot of people didn't realize just how good their team could be or how good they were. They pretty much put the NFL on notice last year, so now teams will be looking for them. I know a lot of people have them in the running to possibly be the representatives of the AFC in the Super Bowl this upcoming season, which will take place in Tampa Bay. But as far as your team is concerned, your first 5 games go as follows. Week 1, you'll host the Cleveland Browns. Week 2, you'll head to H-Town to take on the Houston Texans. Week 3, you'll be featured on Monday night as Lamar Jackson will take on Patrick Mahomes, the battle of the two up-and-coming quarterbacks in the NFL.
Finally in Baltimore.
Week 4, it'll be a battle of I-95 as the Ravens will take on the Washington Redskins. Then week 5, we'll get to see your Ravens take on the number 1 overall pick Joe Burrow in the Cincinnati Bengals. That following week, we were just talking trash to one another off camera. If your Ravens will be heading back up to 95 Philly to take on my Eagles, and see if there's just any more notable games.
Cowboys.
Your schedule is kind of light. I mean, the Cowboys game, week 13, Thursday night game that you just mentioned. Of course, the Cowboys, they're America's team in the eyes of many, but we're not falling for that hype. But they're just staying right now. Their quarterback is Andy Dalton. This thing started tomorrow, right? So we're not going to get them too much right there. B, I know you got a lot of expectations for your team this upcoming season. Realistically, what do you think about the first few games your team will face in the 2020 season? And where do you see your team ending up as far as their record is concerned?
Um, I can see the first 6. I can see either go 5-1, 4-2,
Okay.
and I can see overall us winning 17 games this season. I can see us going 12 5, 13-4.
Okay.
12 5. 12 5. I'll go 12 5. Be realistic.
So you see your team making it into the playoffs this season?
Oh,
Who y'all
yeah.
gonna lose to in the
I
AFC
don't.
Championship
I don't
game?
think the 17th game won't start till next season.
Next season.
But there will be the additional playoff team this year. So when
Okay, that's what. Okay, so I see in that case when 12-4, 12-4, 11-5.
Okay. All right. Are there
Be
any,
realistic.
are there any notable games, any notable matchups in which you'll be looking to see how your Ravens
The Titans.
Titans?
The Titans. Shut up, Craig. Uh, the Titans. Because as we all know what happened, the mud hole that Derrick Henry put against us.
Ooh, child.
We kept shut up. We saw 22. We saw the back of your jersey the whole time. So hopefully,
Track to 22.
all right, that's enough. But no, we put a lot of emphasis on the defense in this draft, so they bring their hard hats. So I'm
I'm looking for that. I'm looking for that game and possibly, I guess, the Cowboys just for the sake of the Cowboys.
Okay. As
And
far
and
as,
we'll smack y'all till week 6.
I'm sorry.
And we smack y'all till week 6.
Nah, that won't be happening. Not at the length. I hope we don't hurt young on that game. We'll
But
try
I hope
to
y'all tie.
we'll try to stay
Why,
close.
why would you say?
But as far as my Eagles are concerned, their schedule is out as well, and they'll be getting Week 1 against the number 2 overall draft pick and and Chase Young, Ron Rivera's new look Washington Redskins team.
The Predator.
It's
Outside
gonna be the
of that,
reason Jalen Hurt play.
our first 5 games are as follows. We'll take on the Washington Redskins week 1. We'll take on the Los Angeles Rams week 2. We'll take on Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals week 3. We'll head to the Bay to take on Jimmy G and the San Francisco 49ers Sunday night game week 4. And then we'll take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh week 5. Ravens.
Oh, they trying to cakewalk y'all into the playoffs, man.
I mean, I wouldn't say that as of right now. Um, but it is a fairly
Light schedule.
yeah, fairly easy schedule as I said. At least, and as I go to look on, I mean, we got the Cowboys November 1st. Uh, we got a pretty easy schedule this season. If I'm all the way honest, I won't lie, fake the phone
If
about
if
it. We
if
got
y'all don't make the playoffs this year, I don't even want to hear it.
no. That's I mean I can kind of second with you on that. I mean we got a tough stretch. Week 12 through week 14. Week 12 we'll take on the Seattle Seahawks. We owe them something because they knocked us out the playoffs last year.
So what's going on?
Then we'll take on the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay, week 13, and then week 14 we'll take on Drew Brees and the Saints. So that's a tough stretch right there for the Eagles. It really depends on what these teams actually turn out to be. Of course, on paper they all look so good, but paper is one thing. When the game is actually played, between the lines, things can get a little interesting. Things can get a little interesting. So that's it as far as our personal teams are concerned. A few other notable games that have been released. I want to talk to you gentlemen briefly about the upcoming schedule for Monday Night Football. Of course, Monday Night Football takes place on ESPN every Monday night during the NFL season. As far as concerned, right now the season is set to start September 10th. It will be a Thursday night game. This, of course, so it's not a Monday night game. It will be a Thursday night. The Chiefs are slated to be in that game. I don't have their opponent as of yet. The screens, monitors going. We're waiting to see if the phones ring and if we get any exclusive information while we're actually talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, right now. But week 1, there will be the doubleheader. Of course, the NFL has become famous over the last few years for having double headers to actually kick off the season. Um, the first game will be the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New York Giants. So that would be the Pittsburgh Ben most likely versus Daniel Jones. Then the second game of that night will be the Tennessee Titans taking on the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are a team I'm very interested to see what they do.
Judy.
Young quarterback Drew Lock. I like that young man, where his potential lies. And boy, oh boy, did they pick up some talent in the draft this year on the offensive end.
Yeah,
So
they did.
you could tell that they'll be looking to keep up with Patty Mahomes, as B likes to call him, and those Kansas City Chiefs. Then just a few more games. Week 2, we'll have the Saints taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. That'll be the first Monday night game in Las Vegas.
Let's go.
As we mentioned, week 3, a very good matchup as the Chiefs will head to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Week 4, Cregg, a very, very familiar matchup. I don't want to call it a rivalry, but we've seen this matchup a few times down the road. Your Atlanta Falcons will be heading to Lambeau week 4 Monday Night Football, October 5th, to take on the Green Bay Packers. Those are always pretty exciting offensive games whenever Matty Ice and that bad man, as Stephen A. call him, Aaron Rodgers, when they go head to head. Then week 5, we'll have the Los Angeles Chargers headed to the Nolia to take on the Saints. Week 6, we'll have the Arizona Cardinals headed to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Week 7, we'll have the Chicago Bears. Will it be Mitch Trubisky or will it be Nick Foles? That team has opened up their quarterback competition this season,
Yeah, as they should.
as they'll be headed to LA to take on the Rams. Week 8, we'll get an opportunity to see Tom Brady and his new uniform as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will head to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Giants. Week 9, a rivalry that'll be pretty different this go round, as the Patriots will take on the Jets. We don't know who the quarterback for the Patriots will be right now, but it'll be a young quarterback, so that'll be a possible battle of the young guns. NFC North, matchup week 10 as the Minnesota Vikings take on the Chicago Bears. And then rounding out the final 6 weeks of Monday Night Football, we'll have November 23rd. That'll be week 11. Tampa Bay and those Tampa Bay Bucks back on TV as the Bucks will be hosting the LA Rams. Then my Eagles will be on the national stage week 12 as Carson Wentz or Jalen Hurts, if Carson can't stay healthy.
Jalen
will be taking on Russell Wilson. The Buffalo Bills will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers, old matchup of dominant teams in the 90s, week 13. Week 14B, the Ravens will be getting more national attention as the Ravens will be heading to the dog pound to take on Baker Mayfield and those Cleveland Browns. Week 15, another matchup of the AFC North as the Steelers will be taking on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And then we'll round out our 2020 Monday Night Football ESPN extravaganzas as Week 16 will end with the Buffalo Bills heading to Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots.
Ew.
Yeah, to be quite honest, not a lot so far. Still early. The NFL is one of those leagues where you might think one team or one player is going to really be good or have a standout season, and they surprise you. So although right now the week 10 matchup between the Vikings and the Bears may not look too promising, as we get closer to that, who knows? That could be a game that has a lot of playoff contention in hand. Were there any matchups from you gentlemen that you'll be looking forward to seeing in these upcoming Monday Night Football games?
KC and Baltimore.
Great. Okay.
The Bills in San Francisco. I want to see what Diggs gonna do in Buffalo.
Okay. All right.
Oh yeah. Because they never get a whole lot of TV time like that. So yeah, I won't mind seeing Diggs and Josh Allen and that new little offense. And one time didn't Frank Gore go there?
He went to the Jets.
It was the Jets. Okay, Jets. Yeah, one time for the old man Gore.
But him and H about the same age, so I don't know.
Well, he's still out there making it happen.
Hilarious.
There's a few other notable things that I'm looking at right now at the monitor, and the Tampa Bay Bucks' upcoming schedule. Their first 5 games, Tom Brady will see the Saints, the Panthers, the Broncos, the Chargers, and then the Thursday night game versus the Bears. A pretty easy matchup. Cregg, the Bucks will actually end their season seeing your team twice. Week 15 and Week 17 will be their matchups against the Atlanta Falcons. So those are 2 days to keep our eyes on. Week 12, we'll get the opportunity to see with Tom Brady and his Tampa Bay. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're stamping right now. Tampa Bay. What the Tampa Bay Bucks can do against the Super Bowl.
Nothing better to do.
Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll get to see a nice Sunday night game as the Bucks will head out to Las Vegas. That'll take some time to get used to saying Las Vegas and not Oakland to take on the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have noticed no international games right now. There will be no international games, no games played in London, no games played in Mexico City. Of course, what's going on in our world globally right now. Travel has changed. How we interact has changed. So the NFL has already come out and said, although they realize there may be modifications made to the schedules on which we just discussed with you, ladies and gentlemen, as of now, those schedules are pretty much set, and there'll be no international games. Now, I mentioned we were off for a few weeks, so we weren't able to actually speak live about the NFL draft or give our opinions on the NFL draft. We spoke on it, of course, several times via social media. So if you follow us on Instagram or Twitter, you may have seen some conversations or some comments taking place, about the 2020 NFL draft. But it is officially over. We now know where our teams stand. Of course, now we now know where some of those teams, how some of those teams will match up this season, or as their schedules are concerned. Pretty much no surprise. In the top five, we pretty much knew Joe Burrow was going number one. Chase Young was going number two. We knew Detroit had their eyes on Jeff, the star cornerback uh, out of Ohio State. Um, we heard some rumors about Tua possibly going to the Miami Dolphins, and we did. I think people were surprised that Andrew Thomas, an offensive lineman out of Georgia with a wonderful last name, that he was the number 4 overall pick
Oh,
out of Giants. You know what I'm saying? What up, guys? You know what I'm saying?
Get you some tickets.
I don't know that man. Day of my
Super
life.
say what up, cuz.
Um, but it got a little shaky for some teams. My Eagles drafted a wide receiver, not the receiver that I wanted them to take. The Falcons made pretty good moves, and the Ravens made a pretty good move,
No.
especially still in running back J.K. Dobbs. Craig, I want to start with you in this go round. How do you feel your Atlanta Falcons did? Talk to us and let us know about your Falcons, the draft stock, the players that they brought on board, and who you feel like can
Bro,
make an
what is going
immediate
on?
impact.
So I think we actually had one of the worst drafts in the NFL.
Okay.
I think we reached at least on 4 out of our 6 picks. I think AJ Terrell, I think he's a corner who we had better options for our scheme.
Hometown kid.
Yeah, he's a hometown kid, but I'm not that impressed with his tape, to be honest. Matt Hennessy, the center we got out of Temple in the 3rd round, I felt like I would have rather have seen us take. Huh?
See you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. I would have rather us take Cushenberry from LSU, man. I just even the draft analyst was like, Matt Hennessy, he's a player who can come in and he got to get stronger and da 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 da. But then Cushenberry gets drafted like 10 spots later, and they're just like, oh yeah, he's NFL ready. I was like, okay, well, if your GM and your head coach are coaching and picking for their jobs for what it looks like, I would think you would want to get somebody who can come in right now and play. But right, and I think Denver had a hell of a draft, but really the only pick where I was like, okay, I'm excited about is Marlon Davis out of Auburn. He was definitely one of the few defensive linemen where I was like, we can get him. That's a coup right there. Like, I think he fits our scheme very well. He can play multiple positions on the defensive line. He actually led Auburn in sacks last year, so I was actually impressed by that too. Of course, he had Derrick Brown, so he's accustomed to playing next to good defensive tackles, right? So him and Grady, I think, could be crazy together, man. But we'll see. I know I don't think we had that great of a draft. I think we could have went other options, maybe traded down and gathered more picks to build out a little more depth. But the cards have been dealt. We gotta play with them now.
Okay. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I had to get up for a second, get some more lighting up in this piece. I'm not mad at that. I was kind of surprised at the selection of AJ Terrell. As I mentioned, hometown kid, so I thought that was a good look for that young man. Played, of course, in a dominant secondary at Clemson. Maybe slightly undersized, reminds me of Brett Grimes to an extent, but definitely high motor. Definitely a lot of.
He got decent size on him. He's like 6'1".
Okay.
He just handsy. Like, he get down the field, it's almost like he get nervous. Like, and even in the national championship games, Jamar Chase had him out here looking like a fool. Falling, getting kicked in the face. I'm like, what you doing? But, hey, he went to Clemson. I'm not surprised. I ain't seen no good Clemson cornerback come out in minutes. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got a fair point right there. Bear with us momentarily, ladies and gentlemen. Just a brief technical difficulties, of course, with us all recording from home right now. We're working out the kinks and getting